Hello, fellow mystery chasers. Welcome back to another deep dive into the shadows of history, where facts blur with the unknown. What if 9 seasoned adventurers, braving the frozen wilds, were forced to slash their way out of safety and into a deadly night by something so terrifying it defied explanation? In the icy grip of the Ural Mountains in 1959, a routine ski expedition turned into one of the most baffling tragedies of the 20th century, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions that still haunt investigators. Today, questions about panic, survival, and perhaps forces beyond our understanding. Stick around as we unravel the Dyatlov Pass incident, piecing together the chilling puzzle that has puzzled the world for decades. And if you're hooked on these tales of the unexplained, hit that subscribe button for History Mysteries Unveiled. Let's keep the curiosity alive together. Imagine a group of young, vibrant Soviet students, full of that post-Stalin era optimism, dreaming of conquering the untamed wilderness. That's exactly who the Dyatlov group was. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old radio engineering whiz from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. These weren't novices, they were grade 2 hikers with serious ski touring creds, pushing for the elite grade 3 certification. Igor, with his inventive mind, he had built radios and even a telescope as a kid, was the heart of the team, always sketching plans and cracking jokes to keep spirits high. There was Zina Takelmagarova, or Zina, 22, a fellow radio engineering student with a fierce determination that shone through her diary entries, where she wrote about the thrill of the challenge despite the biting cold. Yuri Doroshenko, 21, the power economics major, was known for his quiet strength, though friends later recalled his infectious laugh around the campfire. Georgy Krivonishenko, 23, or Georgie, brought the music. He played mandolin and sang folk tunes, lifting everyone's mood, even as snow piled up. Alexander Kolevatov, 24, the nuclear physics buff, was the thoughtful one, always analyzing the terrain ahead. Rustem Slobodin, 23, another engineering grad, was practical and reliable, the guy who double-checked the knots on the tent. Nikolai Thibeaux-Brignoles, 23, Nick, to his pals, with French roots from his father's side, had survived tough times, his dad having endured Stalin's camps, which gave him a resilient edge. Ludena Dubinina, or Luda, just 20, and studying economics, was the group's spirited athlete. She'd once been accidentally shot on a hike, but bounced back with even more fire in her belly. And then there was Semyon Zolotaryev, the oldest, at 38, a World War II vet with tattoos, a mustache, and steel teeth that gleamed when he smiled. He joined last minute, adding a layer of experience and mystery. Originally 10, including Yuri Yudin, 21, who had to bow out early due to joint pain and a heart issue. Picture them bundled up, skis strapped on, faces flushed with excitement as they posed for photos, laughing, waving, unaware that this would be their last taste of normalcy. They weren't just hiking, they were embodying the Soviet spirit of adventure, timed to honor the 21st Communist Party Congress. But as they ventured deeper into the Urals, the mountains whispered warnings they couldn't yet hear. What draws us to stories like this? It's the human element. These were real people with dreams, friendships, and little quirks that make their loss feel so personal. Igor might have been tinkering with a radio that night, Zina scribbling in her journal about the stars above. Subtle moments like these, drawn from their recovered diaries, paint a picture of camaraderie that makes the tragedy hit harder. It all started on January 23, 1959, when the group boarded a train from Sverdlovsk, now Yekaterinburg, heading north into the rugged Ural Mountains. The route was ambitious, a 300-kilometer trek to Mount Otorten, rated Category 3 for its difficulty. With blizzards, sub-zero temps, and unpredictable terrain, they traveled by truck to Vitsai, the last outpost of civilization, then skied onward, pulling sleds loaded with gear. Diaries tell of high spirits early on, songs around fires, debates about science and politics, even a mock newspaper they called the Evening Otorten, filled with inside jokes. On January 28th, Yudin said his goodbyes, hugging his friends and wishing them luck. "I'll see you in Vitsai," he called. But fate had other plans. He was the only one to survive. As they pushed on, the weather turned brutal. By January 31st, they'd cached extra supplies in a valley, lightening their load. February 1st brought snowstorms and zero visibility. They veered off course, ending up on the eastern slope of Kholat Syakal, ominously named Dead Mountain by the local Mansi people. Why camp there, exposed on a wind-swept ridge, instead of the sheltered woods below? Maybe to practice high-altitude skills, or perhaps a simple miscalculation in the fog. They dug into the snow, pitched their tent, and settled in for the night. Temperatures plummeting to -25 degrees Celsius or lower, winds howling like distant wolves. Can you feel the chill creeping in? These were tough folks, but even they must have huddled closer, sharing stories to ward off the isolation. Georgie strumming his mandolin, Luda teasing the boys about their cooking, small human touches that make you wonder, what was their last conversation? Now, we reach the heart of the mystery, the night of February 1st to 2nd, when everything went horribly wrong. Sometime after dinner, their last meal, as autopsies would later show, they were inside the tent, perhaps chatting or dozing. Then, chaos. No signs of struggle from outside, but inside. They slashed the canvas with knives, ripping holes to escape, fleeing into the blizzard without boots, coats, or gear. Footprints showed 9 sets, heading downhill toward the forest, some in socks, one in a single shoe, others barefoot in -30 degrees Celsius snow. What could drive experienced hikers to abandon shelter like that? Was it a sudden roar, a shaking ground, or something more insidious whispering through the wind? Imagine the terror, Igor yelling, "Get out," as the group scrambled, hearts pounding, the cold biting instantly. They ran 1.5 kilometers to the tree line, leaving behind food, axes, even a flashlight switched on atop the tent, as if signaling for help. Under a cedar tree, they tried to build a fire. Branches snapped up to 5 meters high, skin torn from hands in desperation. But the flames flickered weakly against the gale. Hypothermia set in fast, that cruel thief stealing warmth and reason. Some stripped clothes in paradoxical undressing, a hallucinated heat before the end. Others dug a snow den in a ravine, hoping for shelter. But survival was slipping away. Why not return to the tent? Darkness, disorientation, fear of whatever chased them out. The mountains, silent witnesses, held their secret tight. When no telegram arrived by February 12th, alarm bells rang. Families pressured authorities, and on February 20th, a massive search launched. Students, police, military planes, even local Mansi hunters. On February 26th, Mikhail Sherevin, a student searcher, spotted the tent on the slope. It was eerie, he later recalled, the fabric torn from within, contents orderly, like they'd just stepped out for a moment. Footprints led to the cedar, where Doroshenko and Krivonishenko lay in underwear, frozen with burns and bites. Krivonishenko had gnawed his own knuckle. Uphill, Dyatlov clutched a branch, facing the tent. Kolmogorova nearby, as if crawling back, slowbowed in with a cracked skull, but no fatal blow. It wasn't until May, when snow thawed, that the horror deepened. In a ravine under 4 meters of snow, Thibabrinulus, Zolotaryev, Dubinina, and Kolevatov crushed chests like from a car crash. No external wounds, eyes and tongue missing on some, likely from animals or decomposition. Clothing swapped, radiation traces on fabrics, traced to a prior nuclear accident at Miak, where some worked. The bodies told a story of desperation, attempts to return, failed shelters, a fight against the elements, but no other footprints, no weapons, no signs of attack. What force could do this? Prosecutor Lev Ivanov took charge, reconstructing the scene. Tent cut from inside, no doubt. Mansi locals questioned, but cleared. Their trails didn't match. Autopsies confirmed hypothermia for 6, trauma for 3, all dying 6 to 8 hours post-meal. The deep brown tan on skin. Severe frost exposure. By May 1959, the case closed. Compelling natural force, no crime. Files classified. Area off limits for 3 years. But whispers grew. Ivanov later admitted pressure to ignore glowing spheres in the sky, cited by witnesses. Families, like Igor's sister Tatiana, demanded answers, writing to Khrushchev, but stonewalled. Reopened in 2019, prosecutor Andrei Karyakov focused on nature, avalanche, winds, or storm. In 2020, official verdict, avalanche. But skeptics, including the Dyatlov Foundation, cried cover-up, pointing to inconsistencies. So, what really happened? Let's break down the leading ideas, grounded in evidence, but with room for that lingering doubt. First, the slab avalanche theory, backed by science. A 2021 study in Nature modeled it. Hikers cut into the slope. Winds built a snow slab that released hours later, slamming the tent. Injuries match compression against skis below. Panic drove them out. Blizzard prevented return. It explains the delay, lack of debris eroded by weather, and rational flight. Experts like Ethan Green from Colorado Avalanche Center call it plausible. But wait, the slope was only 23 degrees, too shallow. The model accounts for local steepness and weak layers. Still, no avalanche signs noted by searchers. Katabatic winds, fierce downslope gusts, like in a 1978 Swedish case, could have ripped at the tent, forcing evacuation. Or infrasound from wind vortices causing panic attacks. Donnie Icar's book suggests it induced disorientation. Then, the wilder ones, military tests, parachute mines, or rockets, explaining spheres and radiation. Nearby tests confirmed, but no direct link. Yeti. A blurry photo from their camera shows a figure, but likely a hiker. UFOs. Those orange lights, seen by others, fuel alien theories, though probably missiles. What if it was internal, a fight gone wrong? Unlikely. No struggle marks, or Mansi attack, cleared early. Each theory teases a what-if, keeping us guessing. In the end, the Dyatlov Pass incident claimed 9 lives, but birthed endless fascination, books, films, even a memorial at the site. It reminds us of nature's raw power, how quickly adventure turns deadly, and the human drive to seek answers in the face of the inexplicable. But questions linger. Was it truly an avalanche, Or did hidden Soviet secrets play a role? Could modern tech, like exhuming bodies for DNA, finally close the case? What unseen forces might lurk in our own wilderness treks? I'd love to hear your theories. Drop them in the comments below. Was it nature, conspiracy, or something else? If this chilled you to the bone, subscribe to History Mysteries Unveiled for more gripping tales. And turn on notifications so you never miss a dive into the unknown. Thanks for joining me. Stay curious and stay safe out there.